Hi everyone. In this video today we are going to demonstrate SAP CDS Views via OData services to SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server database as a destination. And then we'll also see how to use the data for reporting purposes by connecting Power BI to the SQL Server instance. So starting with the source database setup, Brightflow Ingest has different connectors to connect. So today we are going to use SAP CDS Views via OData using ODP extractors. All we need to provide is your connection details to the SAP server by giving the API host, port, and the user details which the services are enabled for. Moving on to the destination, so we're choosing Microsoft SQL Server as a destination, and for SQL Server, we need the JDBC credential access configured. So once we have our source and database, we'll go to data and choose our services. So for the demo, we have selected um, CDS view based on BSEG, where the service is um, pointing to the CDS view on BSEG and configured for ODP extractors as an OData service. So in the delta extract type, you can choose by primary key or by primary key with history. We are going to see the history on the destination. So we've chosen primary key by history as an option where the type 2 SCD history is generated out of the box. Primary key columns are auto-selected, and that's where we can also choose masks for hiding the confidential information. The columns can be selected. For SAP APIs, here we also have the column description, like the column description coming for each of the columns from the APIs. And also clicking on the column name will provide you the details of, what is the data type, all the metadata information for those columns. Moving on to the schedule, so we have our source service selected for replication. You define the delta frequency in here and choose the full extract to do the initial. So, before starting the deltas, we'll just do the initial. So we've just started the full extract for replication. And a few other options while it is getting replicated. We have here sync new tables where it does the initial load. So for the ongoing replication, you might want to go back to data and add more services onto it. So this is where the sync new tables come into picture, where you want to do the initial for the newly added services, not the already replicating ones. Synchronized structure will replicate any schema changes onto the destination. And rollback is to go back in time and replay those delta logs. So as long as the delta token is retained, it can be rolled back using the rollback feature. In case that helps in case of any recovery. Yeah. Configuration allows for few other extra bits to be configured, especially for the destination database, where you can configure the number of loading threads for destination, the schemas for, you can specify a specific schema where the objects will land onto your SQL server. You can retain the staging, as well as the type 2 SCD columns can be renamed from here and can be controlled for the end-dating values as well. Yeah. To see the progress, now we'll see how our initial load went through. So going on to the logs, we'll just see the delta records have come across. So all the initial records have been loaded onto the destination. Table is created and loaded with 48K records. We'll go to SQL Server and do a quick count check The exact same number of records have been loaded. Now I'll just create a new record in SAP and we'll see how the delta, incremental deltas has been captured. So we'll just post a document. The document is posted now. I'll just take a note of the document number and we'll move on to ingest. To see the progress of the delta records. Just kick up any moment now. Yep, the extraction started and delta request has received 2 records. So each document posting creates 2 entries in the BSEC table, and that's what been captured and loaded as well. So quickly we'll move on to SQL Server table and do a quick count check. So the count would have increased now to 42, perfect. And we'll query for the document number. And the records have been added for 2021 with the code that we entered during the creation of the journal. So that's how the ongoing deltas will progress based on the changes getting for all of the services, and just will keep on capturing the delta based on what frequency in the schedule has been defined, and the destination will be replicated as per this schedule. Now, since our data is going to SQL Server database, so just for a simple report, we've just pointed for the Power BI to the table where SQL Server destination is, and have pulled a few columns. So for BSEG, we have a company code and amount coming in the report, and year-wise. So we've just generated a simple report, total amount per year by company code. And this is where, as the report will be refreshing in the near real time, you'll get on the changes coming across. So the total amount has come up as y-axis and year in the x-axis, and different company codes for each of the year in the descending order. So 2019 has the maximum amount of transactions for each 1710 company code. You have the legends over there. So this is a very simple report, but it can obviously enhance when you have different services landing in SQL Server. You can have all the kind of transformations defined and build your visualizations on top of it. Hopefully this helps with your requirements. Thank you so much.